Hey, what's up everybody? How you guys doing? Today I'm going to be going over ADC builds in Duel. I'm thinking of making this a little bit, maybe a mini series where I go into all the different classes. If I were to pile them all into one video, it would be an endless video. So, yeah, we'll get into the ADC ins and outs here. I figure you start with ADC because most of you masters are going to play ADCs anyway. They're the strongest class in Duel, probably objectively, based on their standing in pretty much anybody's tier list. And yeah, we got on her here, one of the primary ADCs that you'll see in Duel, and just one of the standard ones. The good thing about ADCs is that their builds don't really vary between each other too much. They're all basically going for that same sort of auto attack and pen focus, so with a little bit of defense, usually one defense item, and that's really where Duel obviously varies from the other game modes, is that you'll be building a defense item instead of no defense. And yeah, I think videos like this can help a lot for people that are either just starting Duel, even into like the mid-level, and some of the higher level with at least like build order, because everything does have a bit of preference to it, but the ADC builds are pretty stagnant in some regards. So start off, you're going to want to get Death's Toll on nearly all of the ADCs. It's just a terrific boxing item. It helps you throughout the laning phase so much because it gives you this extra 100 health, which is really the selling point for it. If it didn't have that health, and instead had like 100 mana there, then it would be quite a different item, and there'd be more argument for going things like Bluestone. But that health is very, very helpful, and it's also the passive that allows you to get that regen on both your health and mana. So doing this allows you to not have to go too many mana pots as well, as long as you're auto attacking the wave, and making sure that you keep up that keep that passive going. Especially, you can abuse Death's Toll on the red buff. If you haven't seen my other video, the Duel tips and tricks on this Vigilant YouTube, you can check that out and see what I'm talking about there. There's a way that you can auto attack the red buff, or any buff really, from outside of its range, and it still procs Death's Toll. And it's a terrific laning tool, and just an abuse of a silly game mechanic that I don't know why it exists. So yeah, Death's Toll pretty much on all the gods that, the only gods that are going to go Bluestone Pendant are ones that are really dependent on that lane clear and poke. You can choose to go it on gods like Uller to try to make their laning experience just even more dynamic. Some people still go Death's Toll on those burst gods, but I like to still go the Bluestone just for preference, because I like to really try to bully people in that early and make sure that I get the lane clear done. It especially helps gods like Chiron and who else? Medusa. It's very strong on Hachiman because it allows him to continue to poke and clear effectively, getting that extra bit of damage. And yeah, so basically those kinds of gods where you're looking for more poke and more of that, and you need more of that clear potential to aid your poke, those are the ones you'll go Bluestone on. But it is situational. Basically, Death's Toll is safe on pretty much everyone, because it is such a strong item objectively. So next, you're going to be going into Ninja Tabi with most gods, actually. I used to go Warrior Tabi for way too long, not realizing that in the ADC builds, you don't get auto attack until very far in. It's just kind of the way it goes. You're going to be going straight into, in most matchups, you're going to go Devourer's Gauntlet here. Some people, the extra scum here, if you're up against like a warrior, and sometimes even an assassin, like people will do this against my Thor, they'll go the defense item just straight up here, and it's just like, wow, well fuck. Because the ADCs can pedal out autos with their Ninja Tabi Death's Toll, and their just natural progression as their levels go on, and the enemy warrior or usually it's a burst warrior that you would go this against, like a Hercules. The enemy warrior or assassin is not going to have a great way to deal with this. But don't do this too often, please. It hurts my soul. So basically the normal build, other than that, is Dev's Gauntlet here. You go into it, you know, get those stacks rolling, and then you're going to go for the defense item. Getting the Dev Gauntlet here obviously is a lot more helpful than having to go the defense and then the Dev Gauntlet for your overall progression. But sometimes, like I said, you would know if you want to stunt the enemies early game, then you can value going that defense first. Now, the Dev Gauntlets will be stacking while you have this nice defense item to help you. Just a lot of people wonder why, you know, I'm an ADC, I'm strong enough to be able to take anybody in a boxing match. Like, why not just go no defense and optimize my my killing power? You know, it doesn't really work that way in Duel because anybody can focus you down and find a kill. Mages with their late game builds, and warriors or even assassins, if they find an opening on you, you know, they will have one-shot potential if you don't have a heavy defense item. And this 80 protections here is going to help you with that. Now, I like to go the Height of the Nemean on all the ADCs over Breastplate because of the extra physical protections that it gives, even if I'm against a god that doesn't go auto attack, because, you know, you get the 25% basic attack reflection. And I would even go that against like a Bastet or just, you know, anyone that doesn't focus on auto attack, just because of the little bit more protections that it gives, because I'm not going to be going double defense on ADCs. You could, kind of. Yeah, I don't think it's optimal, to be honest, to go double defense on them. I think people that go for it are often nerfing, you know, their overall progression, and they're just doing it to, like, try to be overly scummy and, like, are not confident in their abilities, so they're trying to be, like, super safe. But it can be done for sure, and it is done often. But I think optimally, just the one defense works out, especially when you get rolling into the next item, which will finally be auto attack. You go Executioner here. And again, before this, you didn't have any auto attack other than the Ninja Tabi. If you had gone Warrior Tabi, you would be in an annoying spot where you're just not doing the auto damage that you want. And at the end of the day, you know, no matter what ADC you are, for the most part, other than maybe Uller, Chiron, stuff like that, Ninja Tabi will be the go-to. I even go it on like Apollo, Izanami, Houyi, gods that it helps gods that don't have steroids, but even gods that do have steroids, it will just enhance their ability to get more autos out on you. And at the end of the game, sure, on some of them, maybe like an Artemis, you'll overcap attack speed with the Ninja Tabi, but for their early game progression, I think it's important to have. But you do sacrifice a tiny bit of lane clear with it because you don't have as much power. So, you know, bear in mind. Next, this is the situational spot. Executioner is almost always going to be here. If you're going up against double defense, I strongly advise that you go into Titan's Bane at this point. Titan's Bane, you know, fantastic item up against double defense. It works out very well, even though these two kind of clash and reduce the potency of the Executioner by a tiny bit. It really still comes out to be some of the best pen you can get, especially when you just consider the build order. Like, you don't want to go Chins here, because ideally you have Chins Titan's Bane. It's a little bit better than the XC Titan's Bane, but yeah, Chins is more expensive. It's not as effective in this spot as Executioner is. It's so it would be a bad idea. So you don't really want to do that. So having that slight interaction is really fine. Ends up being, you know, very much still in your favor as an ADC. And like I said, that's up against double defense. If you're not fighting a double defense god, in this spot, you're going either Chin size, if you're going up against just a normal ass god, or an ADC. The only time, this will be the pretty much the stagnant build against anybody that doesn't go double defense, unless you're fighting someone who has inbuilt heals. I'm not talking lifesteal, I'm talking like Hell, Herc, Aphrodite, that kind of stuff. In this spot, you will definitely want to go the Toxic Blade then. And I guess what we can do here is do the situational Toxic Blade there. I just realized this. Look, I'm working it. I'm working this thing. I've never done this before. That's kind of cute, actually. I don't know if this is what it's meant to do, but I like it. So yeah, in this spot, you're either going to go Toxic Blade if you're up against the healer, or you'll go into Titan's Beam against the double defense. And then to finish it off, here is where you'll go the Toxic Blade against ADCs, against anybody that has lifesteal. Really, it works out. If you go up against a even like a Raijin who's relying on some Bancrofts, you can go the Toxic Blade. If not, you're gonna want to finish the build up with. You can go Frostbound. This is really, this is the situational item right here. You can choose to go a Titan's Bane here to finish things off with, even more pen and power and structure taking damage. That's the thing with Titan's Bane, gives you a lot of structure damage. So this can be just an ideal build against anyone, and then the situational parts here vary. But like I said, against a lot of the other ADCs, you're going to want to go to Toxic Blade. It's just a fantastic item that nerfs the potency of the Dev Gloves, or if they have an Aussie for whatever reason. Basically, just lifesteal is hugely hindered by this item. 60% anti-heal by hitting 3 autos on your opponent. It's fantastic. In the last 5 seconds, it's such a broken item, but it's like, I guess it's just not in... I guess it's not dominating in Conquest right now. I guess it's not as easy to apply as in the 1v1 scenario, because there's, all these other targets you're focusing down. But when you can just utilize this item on one person and keep it on them and just completely negate their healing, it makes healers really irrelevant. And it's kind of a rough time for gods like Chalk, and even Hercules at the higher levels against these ADCs struggles a lot once the late game comes and they have this item down. And up against the other ADCs, like I said, nerfing the Dev Gloves, they rely on lifesteal so much in the boxing match. So if you're getting rid of 60% of it, that's just fantastic in your favor. So yeah, that's pretty much the ADC build there. Like I said, the only things that that vary are the Bluestone start. One thing that I'll definitely do now for you guys real quick. Oh boy, yeah, clear. There's a yeah. I'm very new to this building. It's funny because I'm never like the guy that theory crafts too much, but I've been getting into it more and more, as a streamer, as I've decided to try to get into this kind of area of content creation. I hope you guys enjoy it. I hope, just let me know feedback, anything I can be doing better, anything like that. I'll talk about the start briefly, which probably, could have arguably been the beginning of the video, but sometimes people already knew the start. They wanted to get the full build. They're not going to watch past this part. All right, give me a break. All right, so against as an ADC, when you're going the Death's Toll, you have the benefit of going the Chalice always, and that's pretty sweet because you'll go a Boots 1, and you'll get Chalice plus 2, goddammit, plus 2 mana pots. And this is just a very, very strong starter build. You have the 2 mana pots, pretty much all you need when you have the regen from the Death's Toll on most of the gods. If I go Bluestone, I'll instead go, oh wait, I remember my trick. Instead, I will go with Bluestone, no boots here. I'll get the Chalice, and I'll just hit it up with the hot 4 mana pots instead of a mana chalice. I don't think that the mana chalice is really the go-to in any situation, except maybe as Uldr because he's so mana dependent. Not after the recent buffs though, because now he doesn't even take that much mana. All of his abilities, almost all of his abilities, had a decrease in mana cost. So even he probably doesn't need that chalice anymore as his build goes on. you know, once he gets a little bit of mana from having the Nemean and such, it's probably just not ever necessary to really go on an ADC, or I think on anyone really, the Mana Chalice. I think it's just kind of a waste. These 4 pots should carry you through the early game, and then you should almost never need another mana pot afterwards. So it's more cost effective to not waste the extra 2 gold. And if you have 2 chalices, you can't get wards, and wards are so important in this game. So you should definitely almost never go double chalice. I think it's a really bad idea. I've been seeing it more lately, and I just think it's usually more at like the mid-level that I've been seeing it, and it's just, in my opinion, a poor build option, because you're really kind of screwing yourself. If you need wards at all for the Bull Demon King, or just for general vision, you're going to have to sell one of the chalices, and that's just super awkward. You get no money back, and yeah, not a good time. Definitely not worth the investment. But yeah, so this will be your start, the core start there, and that'll allow you to have the early boxing potential, as well as you know, lane clear, sustain from the death toll, everything. And then on the other side with the bluestone, the few gods, like I said, the Ulers, the Medusa, the what else, Chiron, Kernunos, and Hachiman. I guess there's more. Alright, maybe there's more than a few. But those gods that rely more on poke and clear ability, the bluestone really comes out strong. So definitely I would favor it on them, while some people don't favor it on them at all and still go to Death Toll, because it's just such a staple. And then for relics, I'd say, can you build relics here? Yes, you can. Relics, you're almost always going to want to, in my opinion, on ADC. Some people, like a lot of people at the top right now, have been doing Bracer to start, and I really don't favor it because it's just a snowball item. Once people get anti-heal against it, and they will get anti-heal against you as a hunter, it's just not as potent. It falls off very hard. You know, that 40% health that you'll be restoring in the early game, sure, helps you snowball like a monster, and it looks absurd when it happens, and it's like, holy shit, this is broken. But, you know, if you're fighting for the long haul, then especially in like an ADC Ditto, Bracer is never the way to go. So instead, I'd recommend you almost always go Shell, because Shell is just such a great universal active. It can be used against pretty much everyone. Obviously, against gods like Poseidon that necessitate you going in Aegis, you're going to need to go in Aegis, and against gods that necessitate you going Beads, like a Hunbots or something like that, you're going to have to go Beads, or like a Hades. But we're talking general here, gods that don't have heavy CC. That's on you guys. So remember to go the appropriate defensive active. Always remember to go the appropriate defensive active against people. People underestimate the lower tier gods so much. They'll go up against the Hades and not get beads, and it's just hilarious. Same as like Hunbots. People don't go Aegis against Poseidon and shit, and it's like, holy crap, you're done. Now for a second relic, you're almost always going to go for Shield of Thorns. It's so powerful. This is the ideal relic choice up against an ADC, in my opinion. The Magic Shell will upgrade into additionally absorbing the you know, give you absorption of 2 autos in the late once you upgrade it. That's fantastic for boxing situations. Shield of Thorns, when you upgrade it, gives you the negation of 50% of their total lifesteal, which is also amazing. You have that plus the Toxic Blade, and you're at a 110% anti-heal if it's fully stacked. So kind of sick. But yeah, so I guess that would be the relic choice. And yeah, like I said, on some gods you can favor the Bracer, but I'd say on ADCs really stick to the Shell. Other than when you need a defensive active, you know, necessitated by the god that you're fighting. So that's pretty much it, you guys. The starter, we covered the overall builds, relics. Think that's all, right? All right, so that's that's gonna be it. Look forward to more like these, where I'll go more in depth into the other kinds of classes, hopefully. And I hope you guys enjoyed. Don't spam too many ADCs.